Hello everybody, it's SKFC back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the result that just occurred between Atalanta and Juventus. And as you can see on the screen, Atalanta went out 4-0 winners against the team from Turin. In terms of where this result leaves them currently in the table, so now Atalanta are firmly in the title race, only 3 points behind Inter. And I think at this point, Juventus can now officially consider any talk of a revival in the title race that came from their good form before this match null and void. And this result was a bit surprising, just because Juventus have been defensively good this season. And, this has only been their second loss of the entire season. Now, when looking at the game from a statistical point of view, it's very obvious to see that Atalanta were good for the win that they got, getting an XG of 3.76 to Juve's 0.75 with 7 big chances, missing 4 of said big chances. It's very clear, just for looking from a statistical point of view, that Atalanta definitely deserved to win. And I think what is important to do now is to look at exactly what they were doing in the actual game that allowed them to get this victory. So, when just looking at the setup, so I have here what is Juve's average positions in this game. And I'm comparing that with Atalanta's average positions in this game. And the thing that stands out to me, the two things that stand out to me is, one, how high Juventus's fullbacks were. So we have Cambiaso and Timothy Weah, who are their fullbacks. Two fullbacks that like to get up high and attack, especially Timothy Weah, who was formerly a winger at, I want to say, Lille. So, and that is the first thing that I noticed. And the second thing I noticed is how narrow their midfield is to cover for that. You can see here clearly that you have pretty much most of their center midfielders really sticking to that middle section of the field. And when you juxtapose that with Atalanta's average positions, you can clearly see there's 5 players on either side of the width. So you can clearly tell that they have been set up in a way to take advantage of where Juve's deficiencies are going to be at, especially, and the key here being especially, one, Adamo Lookman, as well as Redigui and Quadrado, who usually serves as a fullback or wingback, but in this game was more of an out-and-out winger. Now we're going to take a look at some game tape to really show, what I thought Atalanta did right and what I thought Juve did wrong in this game. And I want you to pay attention. So in the first clip, this is the right back for Juventus, Timothy Weah. He's passed it into the midfield. And what I want you to notice is just how many Juventus players are being marked. So you have Lookman, who is kind of shadowing this center back here. Obviously have this player here who is trying to get into the passing lane of Timothy Weah. And then you have another Atalanta player here, who I believe this is Ederson, who is man marking this Juve player. And then you have another Atalanta player here who is man marking this Juve player. So doing a very good job of cutting out the passing options. And even if Timothy Weah wants to play it to the center back over here, Lookman is ready to spring on him. If he wants to play it back, Lookman is ready to spring on the goalkeeper as well. So I want you to notice here, he passes it to the center midfielder, and the Atalanta player is able to force an error, wins the ball back, and immediately now if he can get to the ball first, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 Atalanta players compared to 3 Juve players. So you're looking at a 4v3 advantage. And then, even though he doesn't get the ball, he's able to force Weah into making another mistake. And now Zappacosta wins the ball back. And now, here, Lookman's going to drag this center back wide. Again, now you've created numerical advantages. And when Lookman does that, Zappacosta is already going to start running into that open space. And at this point, you have a 3v2 advantage. And this all comes from the press of the Atalanta players. Now, this moment doesn't result in a goal, but it kind of just shows how quickly Atalanta are able to transition defense into attack, and what Juventus should be worried about in this match. So here we have another situation. So Juve at this time are more advanced into Atalanta's side of the pitch. Of course, Atalanta are settled defensively, but are making moves to pressure the Juve players. As you can see, Lookman's already on the blind side of this Juventus player, and they don't really spot him pursuing them on the ball. And as you can see, he keeps going, and he's able to win the ball back. And I want you to pay attention to how many Juve players are back to defend and who's not there. So you can see here, there is Lookman with the ball. You have Retegui, who's going to be going one way. You have, who I believe this is Ederson, who's going to be going the other way. And who's not here? Neither fullbacks are here. Cambiaso's pretty much out of the play. Timothy Weah is too far forward. So there's not a lot that these two center backs can do. As the most they can really do is try to contain them as much as possible. It's even crazy is then you have two more Atalanta players who are making runs as well. So you're looking at a potential 5v2, a 5v3 if you think the Juve players are going to get back in time to help defensively. And as you can see here, this moment also doesn't result in a goal as well. But if Lookman makes, a better passing decision, there's not really much that the Juventus players can do about it. This is just kind of another moment that kind of exemplifies what I'm talking about. Again here, the same problem repeats itself. You can see Timothy Weah is way too far ahead to have any influence on what Lookman's going to do over here. And of course, these two players are worried about the players in front of them, and Lookman is left completely open, and the midfielder spots that. I'm not going to show the rest of this play, but I believe this is the play that leads to the second goal that Atalanta scores. So this is the last clip I want to go over, and this was, I believe, what led to the fourth goal. So you can see here, Atalanta again have 5 players ready to pounce on Juventus, actually 6 if you go a little bit wider. You can see here Juve are just kind of trying to build up in their own shape, and this time you can see they have kind of 3 defenders in the back. They have the right back invert a little bit, and then you have the other center midfielders over here. And you can already see the Atalanta players are trying to cut off the passing angle, but Juve center back is able to get the pass through. And you would think at this point, okay, we've bypassed the pressure, we should be fine. But you can already see this Atalanta player is already rushing to get over here to the ball. And even if he doesn't get to the ball, him rushing like this is going to make it so that this Juve player isn't comfortable. So they get to the ball, they have their own 50-50. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit, just because of the specific spot I'm waiting for. I think we're actually going to get there right now. So you can see at this point, again, Juve have gotten control of the ball again. But Atalanta, they don't relent. So they keep going, keep trying to apply pressure. So you can see here, number 15 was doing it. And then now this other man switched over, and he's going to be applying pressure now. Forces the Juve player into slipping, into an error. And at this point, you can already see Lookman, this Atalanta player, and Retegui, they're all ready to pounce. And I mean, at least this time, one of their fullbacks is back. But again, Timothy Weah, completely out of position. Is not going to do anything to affect this play. And the Atalanta players run. Lookman keeps going. And he ends up taking the shot himself, and it's a really good finish, to be fair to him. But this is how he scores. And again, turning defense into attack, being able to get those transitions off as quickly as possible, that is the secret to how Atalanta obliterated Juventus today. And that's it for the end of the video. If you made it this far, I want to thank you. I would like to ask that you like the video and you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on post notifications. We have plenty of other informative videos on the channel. Give your thoughts down below on what you thought of the match. And most importantly of all, remember to have a good day.